Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well. Today we're talking about getting the Tundra set up for a road trip, kind of with the preparedness minded aspect. And I'm just kind of going over some other random things. Here's some quick updates for you. In the barn here, finally got some garage door openers. The little guys just kind of have the standard ones, and then the big 20 by 14 has this kind of more commercial setup, but we can open them, which is nice. I've had an infinite amount of pain in the butt things with house, property, everything. This is another one that's just been a continued frustration. You can probably tell here, God, these doors have creases all the way up. Some random other dents and stuff, and dents along basically every window, bunch of dents, kind of worse depending on the angle. The sun's not even hitting this. It's even worse when the sun is hitting it. So the garage door installers didn't do it. It's actually the manufacturer, CHI, or the warehouse guys that unload it, whatever. And now this is like, they've tried to replace this like 3 times now, and every time they come to unload it, panels creased, things are dented every time. So this is quick feedback from you guys. I wanted this barn all black, right? Black doors. I thought it was cool. My wife and a lot of other people think that these doors that I have on the house are cooler. This is actually metal, but it's painted to kind of look like wood. These are insulated doors. Anyway, similar style to the all black look. Those doors were more expensive, a little bit, but I kind of thought it'd be cool to have like that over there and then just all black here. What the garage door people are telling me are the door this size, those doors typically do better. Like, they don't show damage as much because this is kind of, it's not smooth, it's textured, right? But kind of a big smooth panel versus that is kind of like, I don't know, little strips. So it can hold its shape a little better, doesn't show imperfections. So they're kind of saying they will upgrade me to that design, which again costs more, and it won't be all black. So I'm kind of wondering if I should do that. What do you guys think? Do you like the all black, or do you think the big barn would look cool with the big kind of wood look doors? I'm pretty split. Everyone else thinks those doors are cooler. I don't know. Let me know. Not that it affects you, but this barn is going to be the backdrop of a lot of videos and stuff. So let me know what you think, if one is cooler than the other. In addition to that, I want to do a quick update again. I'll put timestamps down below as I usually do. I'm getting the Tundra kind of ready to go. I'm going to be doing a little road trip out. My buddy Mike Glover of Fieldcraft Survival invited me out. He's been trying to get me out to check out their new facility for a while now, and I've just been a little bit busy with things, but he has this video idea in mind that he wants me to be a part of, and he wants me to hop on his Mike Force podcast and do a couple other things. And I'm gonna do some videos for myself with him while I'm out there. So I think I'll try to drop this video before I go. So let me know down below what you'd like to see me do just on a quick trip with Mike Glover, or a video you'd like to see me do with him. I don't know. Let me know what you'd like to see, and then I'll release some of that on my Instagram and YouTube channel down the road, links to that and whatnot. But you can look forward to that. But anyway, this video, I was kind of just getting this truck ready for a road trip, and then maybe I would camp a little bit on the way or while I'm out there. So I got the rooftop tent on here, and a little bit of backstory. So I typically like to listen to audiobooks instead of reading them, just because if I'm processing firewood, or back before when I was making all of the holsters for my holster company by myself, I was spending a lot of time doing just manual, kind of mindless labor. And that gave me a great opportunity to listen to a bunch of audiobooks or listen to podcasts, things like that. So I listened to a lot, and I enjoyed it. I don't usually just sit around and spend time just reading a book. So I'm usually always doing things. And some of those things require my attention, and I'm just listening to music or background noise or whatever. And sometimes it's mindless. Again, road trips, things like that, where I'm just like, I like to put on an audiobook. And some of those are business books, and some of those are, whatever books that I find interesting. Or maybe there's a TV show, like I actually just recently watched The Silo, and really liked it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll listen to the audio. It's based on a book. Listen to the book series. Buddy Jack Carr, I listened to all his books on Audible. And some of the genre I like to listen to are fiction, kind of apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, dystopian, stuff like that. And when I was first kind of getting into this, unfortunately, there's an author that I just hate. I just can't stand his voice, and he authors like half of that genre. So anytime I see him as a reader, I'm just like, I can't do it with that guy. But earlier on, I could, and I'm not sure, this is all tangential. Earlier on, I just was kind of listening to anything that was kind of popular, and the genre has blown up now. There's a billion books and all kinds of different, whether that's zombies or EMPs or whatever. Anyway, there was a book, I thought it was 1 Second Later, which is a good book, EMP based, but that wasn't the book I was thinking of. The book I was thinking of was actually Going Home. When I listened to this book, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, so it's not crystal clear in my mind, but I remember I liked the book. The book was based on the idea that an EMP hit. This guy was out. I forget what he was gone for, but he was a few hundred miles from home, and he basically had to trek home. And I think it's the first book in a series of kind of what happens after. That's why I was getting it mixed up with another fictional book, 1 Second After, 1 Second Later, 1 Minute Later, another fiction based on EMP kind of survivalist prepper book. Anyway, all that to say, Going Home was the book that I was thinking about when I was getting ready for this road trip. And I do a lot of road trips, and I drive a lot, and I go, I don't do a ton of road trips, but I do them from time to time, or sometimes I drive to an event, Overland Expo or whatever, and oftentimes I'm out camping. And I make videos like the Prepared Daily Driver. I got an overland rig that's kind of ready for everything, but I really got intentional this time as I was kind of getting some things ready for the truck. Actually thinking of which vehicle I even wanted to take. I might have took the Lexus, honestly, because this thing drives really nice, but I still don't have a roof rack. Originally, I was gonna go for a Prinsu rack. I'm debating, actually, because I'm trying to figure out exactly how I wanna build this vehicle out. And I think it's gonna be kind of family adventure. I think it's gonna be like big ground tent. I got some more news on that later. If you haven't figured it out, this is gonna be kind of a rambling video, conceptual, talking about all kinds of stuff. But anyways, I was thinking about taking the LX just because it drives nice. And part of the concept was like, well, if the more realistic scenario other than EMP is a grid attack. So an infrastructure attack on the power. And that could affect gas stations and whatnot, but the cars might not go out. I also have EMP shields. I'll link them down below. A lot of people, basically every electrical engineer that has ever existed on the planet has commented on my EMP video about this thing won't work, blah, blah. But I've also talked to some guys that know a lot about EMPs. I've talked to some of my three-letter agency friends that I just happen to have, and a lot of their vehicles are equipped with it, their personal vehicles and their work vehicles. So anyway, EMP shield, it's worth noting I have a coupon code with them if you do all your research yourself, but basically it's a device that theoretically will make cars EMP proof. But if you get even deeper into it, if you read the EMP Commission papers, they said that actually most modern vehicles have enough shielding that they should survive an EMP attack. Not all of them, but a lot of modern vehicles will survive an EMP attack according to those official documents without an EMP shield. So sometimes they'll shut off and turn right back on. Some won't work and some won't be affected at all. Anyway, the EMP shield, just another added layer of security. Not a pitch on them, but I like them. Maybe I'll do an updated video on that in the future once I dig a little more. Anyway, so EMP, I think, is less likely than an infrastructure attack. And this is backed up by a lot of people these days, a lot of resources, a lot of some insider knowledge. I'm privy at least to a tiny bit of that just through some friends that I have. And infrastructure attack is actually the biggest threat that they think with AI chips, hackers, and then a bunch of feet on the ground as well. A few people can hit a few targeted sites and knock power out for like most of the country, and it it could happen easy. Not to freak you out, but just to give you all of the relevant backstory that has been kind of going on in my mind. And again, I'm not a paranoid, crazy person, but I do nerd out on preparedness. So, road trip, being away from home now. So one of the fears of every preparedness type person is, what if that event happens when I'm not at home? That would suck. It probably won't happen. I don't think about it too much. Again, I'm not like a paranoid person or anything, but I am a prepared person. You can't prepare for everything, but I try to be relatively prepared. So, like I was talking about earlier, sorry, I know, rambling video. Most of my vehicles are equipped with a get-home bag, a jump starter, tire repair kits, like things that most people would think generally pretty prepared. But I was theory crafting in my head, well, what would happen if an EMP hits, my car still works, or a grid attack happens and just internet power is out, even if it was relatively localized, but it happened to be right on my drive home, right? And this is just kind of to get you thinking, not to freak you out, because again, probably nothing's gonna happen. But I thought, okay, well, assuming my car still works, if my car didn't work, the trip is about 500 miles. 500 miles, you say, over an extended period of time with not full-on backpacking kit and not ways to restock along the way, and a bunch of variables, we'll say a relatively fit guy, I'll say I could hike 10 miles a day. Assuming I don't hit snags, assuming I don't have to go through blizzards, assuming a lot of things, we'll say 10 miles a day. You could do more, 20, 30 miles maybe, but that's like not for 30 days straight. So we'll say 10 miles a day, 500 miles, we'll round that to 2 months of walking, assuming everything goes right. So I want to drive as much as possible. I don't want to walk. So I think about this in a theory crafting sort of way. Okay, well, maybe I will have some gear that worst case scenario, I'll at least be able to cover some of my bases walking. I'm not going to carry 2 months of food, but water filter, some food. Hopefully I can scavenge some stuff along the way if I have to walk. But driving. So what do you need for driving then? You need a prepared daily driver, a vehicle with bumpers that I can move things, able to self-recover, winch, max tracks, things like that, and able to sustain. Now, I don't have a long-range fuel tank on this or anything, but I can put more fuel in the bed. That was kind of the area where I was thinking LX versus Tundra. I know I got distracted earlier, and I'm gonna take that tangent and run with it again. Prince rack, but I think I'm gonna do a front runner maybe, because I kind of want to put the table. I want to be able to load this thing out for like full family adventure. The problem with the LX is it doesn't have a lot of range, and the problem with the LX, at least in its current configuration, is any fuel that I take with me, I'd have to take inside. Now, the advantage of having an SUV is you could sleep inside if you need to, and that's a little more stealth, and I like that. I could sleep inside the Tundra though, of course. It's not, it wouldn't be a super comfortable sleep, but I could in a pinch. And then I do obviously have the rooftop tent on the back. If I had a cap, I could sleep, and I've actually slept under the Diamondback cover. I actually did a weekender lander where I brought nothing and just slept in the bed of the truck. This is like the 6 foot, 8-inch bed, something like that. So there's multiple ways I could sleep in the vehicle. But when comparing the LX to the Tundra, and there's other vehicles I have. The GTR wouldn't make sense. The Golf R, nah, I'm okay. The Tacoma would work, but this is much better, more power, more fuel efficient, adaptive cruise control. Probably nothing's gonna happen, and in a world that nothing happens, this is actually the best thing to drive of my vehicles, honestly. There is the Jayco van, that would work pretty well too, but still this, I figured, with the whole prepper mindset, it's got the biggest tires, 4-wheel drive, rear locker, self-recover, most powerful, kind of might be able to push things out of the way. And then, no long-range fuel tank, but it does have a pretty big tank. It's like a 38-gallon or something, 35-gallon, 33-gallon, I don't remember exactly, but pretty big tank, so it has decent range. And then you can get roto packs, or you could get jerry cans, or you could just get these. So I have a bunch of these 5 gallons. You could get other stuff that's a more permanent solution, transfer tanks and stuff like that you put in the bed. Most of those aren't rated for gasoline. They usually are meant for diesel. But these, super, super easy. I have 4 of these actually already. So, and I just keep them handy for snowblower, generators, things like that. I put, I'll link you to some stuff down below that you should get just in case you don't have it. I'll link some tanks. I usually swap the nozzles on them. And then I have stable. Best case scenario, you get ethanol-free gas that has a little longer shelf life, but this will essentially, the claim is stabilize any fuel for up to 2 years. So I'll usually fill up a thing, and I usually don't like write the date on it or anything. I'll just set myself a reminder, remind me in a year to empty the fuel. And then I dump all that fuel into Ashley's car or something, and then go refill them, and then I'm good for another 2 years. So that little tangent to say, I got 4 of these. I could buy more, you know, they're cheap. I'll link to them on Amazon below. And then I just take those 4, throw them back in the bed of the truck, and then I have an extra 20 gallons of gas on tap. And I like these because they're very easy. Depending on the nozzle, again, I swapped out the nozzle. Sorry, it's a little too bright out here. Getting it in the tank's on the other side, but you gotta kind of go at an angle. So you might wanna bring a funnel with you, like an angled funnel, so you can fill your tank up easier. But those are just, you don't look like a crazy person at the gas station, and they're normal and everyone fills them up, and you can get nozzles that make them really easy to pour. And they fit under the bed cover, and they'll actually fit under even my bin back here. So I could put, I don't know, maybe like 7 across, but even 4 across, 20 gallons. We'll say I'm getting, 15 miles per gallon. That's 300 extra miles of range. I hate doing math on the spot, but I think that's true. So this fuel tank, when full, has 300 or so miles of range, plus another 300 miles of range in the tank, 600 miles. So assuming I'm within that 500 mile range, and I keep my tank at an appropriate level, I should be able to travel home with just the fuel I have on board without changing much, without adding a second tank or anything. Like, still, I got the spare tire underneath. Without changing much, I can now turn this into very easily a 600 mile range vehicle, 600 plus mile range with only 4 of those little 5-gallon tanks. Now again, I could put 8 back there if I wanted to. And that is the beauty of the truck versus not as practical to put 4 or 8 fuel canisters in the back of the Lexus. So Theorycrafting Tundra was the choice. I actually just got an oil change done on this. I'm still in my free oil change window. So I just got that literally done today. Plenty of tread on the tires, tire repair kits, spare under there, all my other normal stuff. This is why I prefer to not have the hybrid, because the hybrid, even though it does have more power, gets a little better fuel economy, you lose out on, I think, all of the storage because this now becomes batteries under the seat. And I have all of my preparedness, get home bag, extra food, stove, extra boots, pants, everything I need under here. So I probably will load out slightly more for this trip again, because I'm kind of in this theory crafting mode where I'll have a backpack, a little bigger backpack and a little bit more stuff. Maybe load up my boots that are like really for long distance trekking versus just kind of my comfortable shoe boots. You know, I don't really like to talk about whether I keep a truck gun in here all the time, but I definitely will have a truck gun in here for the trip in addition to just my carry gun. Now, not gonna get too far into that. I like SBRs. I have SBR, short barreled rifles. You need to register them, and then I don't ever take them across state lines. You need to get approval to go across state borders into other states with short barreled rifles. Now, I'm a big fan of not complying, but I'm also a big fan of not going to jail for stupid things. So I will usually take pistols. So rifle calibered guns that are technically pistols. Then you can get a short barrel, but it's technically a pistol. As far as the law is concerned, they're less regulated. There's actually less regulations about traveling with them in your vehicle, depending on your state or whatever. So my truck gun is typically a rifled caliber pistol. Not a pistol, looks like a rifle, but technically under the law, it's a pistol with the pistol brace. All that pistol brace stuff got removed, and caliber of choice, for if you're wondering, is a 300 Blackout. So an AR pistol 300 Blackout. That is my truck gun. Do you need a truck gun? Not gonna get into it too much, but theory crafting, yes. So I'll have my carry pistol, truck gun, bag that's a little more loadout capable, extra fuel, so hopefully I can just drive. Let's talk about some other stuff. So I probably will also grab my one bin from the Tacoma, throw it back here, some other gear back here. This is, for those that don't follow this truck, this is the shorter cab, double cab I believe it's called on the Tundra, with the longer bed. Not the 8-foot bed, but yeah, the 6.5 or whatever foot bed. So got a lot of space back here. Actually keep a lot of stuff up under that bin all the time. Max track, shovel, axe, things like that. Some other recovery gear. And then I do keep some tools here. Some more tools and some more recovery gear and some med kits and stuff, both behind the seat here and under the seat. I did a whole video on truck gear. You can check that out if you want it. So we got the Diamondback cover on here with the load bars. So I like that because I can put stuff in here and it's super secure, lockable, extra secure. Actually, this is the pro tip. If you have a powered tailgate and you back somewhere, you know, into a wall, don't hit the wall or into a tree or something where your tailgate can actually be open, and you essentially have your whole bed as a vault. These got super upgraded locks. I believe they're the same, like from the same company or the same locks they use at the White House or Pentagon or something. I kind of forget. And then up top, we actually have a Free Spirit tent, FSR, Go FSR. This is the Evolution. This is kind of a tangent. You guys have seen me run a variety of tents through the years, but it's been iCamper for a lot of years because they made a tent for the Tacoma that I just liked. Free Spirit, they're a Colorado company, and they actually have been wanting to work together for a while. And I like that they're local because less than 30 minutes away is their headquarters where they have everything. And kind of the interesting thing I'll be doing with them this year, this is a tent that's already in production, the Evolution V2. They have some other tents that are in the early planning phases, and then they have some tents that they actually have prototypes. They have rooftop tents and ground tents and whole sleep systems and a bunch of stuff. And they're wanting me to help kind of prototype and test and give feedback of a lot of this stuff. So this year on the channel, you may see me running some prototype tents and some production tents. And I'll kind of keep you in the loop as we go, but I'm basically going to help them revise and you know, give feedback on these prototypes and hopefully get even better final production products that have kind of the features that I'm looking for and things like that. So cool partnership with Free Spirit Recreation. If you don't know about them, they make some cool tents, ground tents and rooftop tents. And they're actually doing the roadmap. I can't talk about it, but they have a crazy amount of stuff planned for the 24 and then 25. So super stoked. But yeah, I threw a rooftop tent on there because when I'm out in Utah, I don't actually know, I'm just kind of going out there. I haven't really communicated with Mike Glover enough to figure out what's going on. All I know is we're gonna carve out a couple days to do some stuff, but then at night, I may just go drive off into the woods and camp somewhere, or I may get a hotel, I don't know. But I wanted the option, so I'm gonna bring all my camping gear with. So yeah, those were the things I kind of took into consideration when thinking about a truck that will handle the road trip just fine. Obviously, in normal scenarios, there's a 99.99999% chance that the worst thing I'll hit is some snow on this trip. But in the tiny, tiny, infinitesimally small percent chance that something else crazy happens, I want to get back to my family, to be able to be with them, protect them, obviously. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to just gear this truck up just a little bit. Again, without going crazy paranoid or anything. Extra fuel can be handy for people, you know, if you're stuck in a normal blizzard or whatever and people are low on fuel, you're like, man, well, I can help a bunch of other people. So a lot of people carry extra fuel as a precaution just in their day-to-day, and I'm just going to carry a little extra fuel in my trip. So, you know, if I need it, I have it. If I don't, it's just going to be up here in the front of the bed, not doing anything, and then I bring it back and eventually it goes in a generator or a snowblower or something like that, or, you know, eventually into Ashley's wrap. And I give her a little extra gas because half the time we want to go somewhere and I'm like, oh, let's take your car. Ashley's response is, ain't got no gas in it. Even though I hound her every time to not go below a half a tank. I think she does it to spite me. So what do you guys think? Do you ever think about that kind of stuff? For me, it's kind of fun. Like I'm a prepared guy again, but for me, it's kind of fun just to think about and to know that I have the capability to handle that situation, to know that I'm doing everything realistically within reason to be ready for anything. Now again, I don't want this video to be like, oh, I'm freaking you out, the end is near, oh, this news just, you know, like those prepper channels do, oh my gosh, right? But a couple extra steps, be pretty dialed. So let me know what else that you would think about. I mean, like, chime in below with other things that you think I should bring, other than, again, my truck is relatively kitted on the day-to-day. So, but things, even if you haven't watched my truck gear video, like, this is what I like to bring, or when I've thought about the same thing on road trips, and this is what I like to bring. So some communication tools and stuff I didn't talk about, but naturally would be there. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it and reminded me of an old book. I'll link to everything down below. I appreciate you using my links. They are affiliate links when they can be. But yes, also hopefully I launch this video in time and you can tell me what you want to see me do with Mike Glover. If you don't know Mike Glover, he's a cool guy. Google him. So that's the setup. I was going to go through and like talk about fleets and do life updates and building updates and project updates, but I don't know if you care about that. I just don't know. I've had some people ask me like, how's the house been? Can I do a house update? And maybe I'll do that. So I encourage this in all my videos, and it's not just lip service. I love to hear from you. I love to know what videos you want to see here on the channel. I'm just a guy I don't think anybody should necessarily care about, but some people do, and I appreciate that. And if there's any insight I can give you to anything in my life, I love to do it. So I think that's gonna wrap this video up. We're losing daylight, and Ashley's actually gotta leave me, so I gotta go inside and watch Cooper for a little while and put the camera down and do the thing I love most, spend time with my son. So, but I don't know. I just like it. I thought it was fun. I like being prepared, and I like trucks. That's that. All right, guys. Well, random video, but until next time, take care.